I'm shuffling off to Buffalo and then on to Schenectady, and I'm supposed to get there in under 14 hours. So I don't know if I'll be talking too much unless I get there earlier than I expect. Highway 90 eastbound in between Buffalo and Schenectady. Once you go through those nettles we were talking about, and you get yourself awake every morning, because it isn't automatic, at least for me, and once you're awake, you can fight off any opposition to you settling into your powerful, nettle-proof self. You go through them, you feel the stings, and after a while, they don't hurt. You become nettle-proof, bulletproof. Every challenge is easy. It's almost as though you are two people. You're the vulnerable, weak, clingy, needy person, or you're the powerful, kingly person, queenly person who needs nothing, who is absolutely fine with any circumstance. Once you get yourself there every day, everything looks easy, and you just can't even imagine how you would have reacted like a crybaby to anything you see. I get there and I think to myself, hey, where have you been? And why can't we just stay like this all the time? And my theory is that eventually it'll be like that. I won't have to be two people. I won't have to be multiple personalities. I'll just be the strong one. I turn the camera on right now because I feel bulletproof. And all the 6 hours, a little bit more than 6 hours between Conestoga and Buffalo, I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel wimpy exactly, but I felt vulnerable. And then I went through the process of just facing whatever it is I'm afraid of, and it isn't always the same thing. And it gets easier the more often I do it. There's a big change. I can feel it between now and 3 weeks ago, or even last week. So it feels like, in my situation at least, that I'm on the right track. So we'll go from here, and I'll keep you posted. So it's a new day, just barely. I'm in a pilot in, where am I? Schenectady, New York. And I delivered yesterday, technically, 2 loads of ice cream, 2 partial loads. So 2 stops. One was in Buffalo, the other was on this side of the state. Now I'm going back to the yard. It's about 5 hours from here, 5.5 hours. And then I'm picking up a load there and going to Keesby, New Jersey, and then back home, hopefully in one shift. So I better get started. We'll see how it goes. So yesterday I was talking about being in a place where I didn't worry about anything. I was leveled up. It's almost like there are 2 different options of me, and I picked the one that's powerful, and I install that person, and I stay in a place where nothing much can touch me in terms of crises or insecurities. It's trying to figure out how to keep that person in place, because sometimes in the morning it's a struggle to get all the way awakened and in that place where I know that I'm bulletproof, that I'm impervious. I was thinking that person, when once installed, doesn't notice ass wagons like this in front of me, you know, that keep speeding up and slowing down. And I almost don't see them. It's almost like infrared or ultraviolet, or sounds that are so low that only elephants can hear them. The sounds are there, but we don't detect them. And people operating at a lower level don't register if you're vibrating at a higher level. You're not even aware of them. When I'm annoyed, when I'm irritated, when I'm angry or upset or some other low vibrational emotion, then I can see and hear all the assholes. I can feel the insecurities. I'm vibrating at their level. It takes one to know one. So if I'm not one, I won't even notice them. And it's true in relationships. When you don't vibrate at the same level as someone who's petty, a partner of yours, if you have a partner whose tendency at a lower level, like maybe fear or insecurity or pathology of some sort, like being a psychopath, then you won't notice them. And also you release them and move on from them because you're not one of them. It takes one to know one. So it takes you being like them to be bothered by them, and it takes you being not like them to move on, if you're going to move on. And if you haven't transformed, if you haven't leveled up, then you won't be able to do it. You'll be stuck. You'll be in victim mode. You'll be in complaining mode forever. Now sometimes when you level up, it allows the other person to see you better. Maybe they've already leveled up.
Be in the right lane.
And so now they can see you when before you were sort of insignificant to them. All of this is almost self-evident. It makes sense without needing much persuasion.
Police reported ahead.
The best thing to tell myself is to figure out how to get there quickly every morning, how to install the high-level person on the throne. I think I need some incantation or mantra that I can chant that snaps me into place quickly, so that it isn't a process, but it's just like a switch that I can flip on when I turn on the lights in the morning. I'll work on that. Let's see if we can get that to work together. So my shoulder started to hurt today, and I realized that it stops hurting if I just keep it in a healthy position. Because I reach forward to touch my GPS and my ELD log, and if my shoulder is rolled forward and then I reach, after a while it hurts, and I reach frequently apparently, and I never had opportunity before I was full-time driving to reach so much. So what I'm learning is that my shoulder feels better right away if I roll it back and then reach. And if I lean forward with my shoulder rolled back and reach, everything's fine. So the analogy I want to bring up is that person that's in charge, that isn't worried about petty things, that knows how to handle jealousy and knows how to handle other people's dumbassery or whatever, and has a kind of vibrational level where everything, you can just take it in stride. And I think there's a habit that can be formed. I was talking about a mantra. It could be something simple, like maybe every time I roll my shoulder back or suck in my gut. That's another thing, that there's a muscle that goes around the middle of your body that you can practice. You can suck in your gut and it trims your waistline. Whether you reduce your levels of body fat or not, it's good for you to suck your gut in habitually. So maybe I could suck my gut in and roll my shoulder back and remember to be that person who doesn't worry about anything, who doesn't give a fuck, who just rolls with whatever the universe deals him and enjoys it and is grateful for it. And it takes me less and less time to put myself there each morning, depending on what kind of thoughts the demon committee throw at me, or that my subconscious throws at me, or both, or neither, however woo-woo you are. But if I could get in the habit of quickly putting myself in that place, better at it, just like I'm going to get a better habit with my shoulders. And it looks better too when your shoulders are back. But it makes that joint work a lot better, and it probably makes everything else work better. I noticed that my hips and my shoulders have a relationship to each other. So maybe I can get my hips and my shoulders and my mind all working together, and I'll let you know how it goes.